Hi there guys, my name is Jamie and I'm going to be running you through your very first Android tutorial. So the first tutorial is going to focus on getting our environment set up, and the environment is going to be the Android Studio. We're going to look at a little bit of emulation and the options that you have for emulating real devices or working with real devices. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at getting Android Studio set up. To do that, we're going to need to download it from Google. So one of the best things is Google makes it nice and easy to download the Android Studio. So all you need to do is go to developer.android.com. You can navigate through there. There's a few guides and training portions, but the main thing you want to be looking for is the download Android Studio. It's perfectly findable through Google, so you can pick it up easily like that. So we'll download the Android Studio and install that. Now the Android Studio has been optimized now. It used to be Eclipse, so you may find other tutorials and content on the web that refers a lot to Eclipse. Up until recently, Android Studio has been very highly developed, and it's had a quick development path, but more developers are moving towards it now, so it's really worth looking into. So we're going to be working primarily in Android Studio. We may have to jump into Eclipse, although it's very likely we'll spend all of our time in Android Studio. So let's have a look at Android Studio. It's based on IntelliJ, and it is recently been optimized and changed for Google's Android platform. First glances for Android Studio, it may feel a lot more cluttered than Eclipse was. I found that when I first started using it, but it's very easy to pick up the controls, and it feels a lot more polished overall. So when this finally decides, it's going to load. Okay, so first of all, let's look at some of the view areas and our workspace. So the most important part for our workspace is the center console. It's going to contain all of our code and the files that we're working on currently. The left side is the Project Explorer, or the Solution Explorer, and that'll be where all of our folders lie, and we'll look at these in a little bit more depth in future tutorials about what exactly the folders do, how they're relevant to our project, and how they fit into the overall project architecture. So at the bottom we have Logcat. Now Logcat's not important for us at the moment, we're not going to focus too much on it, but essentially Logcat is Android's version of the logging system. So once you've got a device, either emulator or a real device connected, you can hook and view the logs through the Logcat here. We also have a few other options for the logging. We have ADB logs, which again we're not really going to focus on in this tutorial. We're going to just cover some of the main things. Now you have multiple options when it comes to emulation, so everyone has their own preference when they're developing. A lot of people stick to the Android's default emulators, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you find that they do the job, then there's no real point in fixing something that's not broken. So if you wanted to make a new Android virtual device, you need to go to Tools, Android, AVD Manager, and then this will pop up with the normal AVD Manager, which is available through your SDK folder. So if we did want to make a new device, we can type a few things in here. Google have got quite a few profiles that you can follow that configure one for you and give you the real life RAM that they run on. So you have a few options there. You can target different API levels and emulate or even provide a camera based on your webcam. You can also set the SD card and work with that. But basically, this is one of the options if you're approaching emulation when you're developing for Android. Now, one of the other options that is worth mentioning and also worth getting involved in is Genymotion. So a lot of people have started using Genymotion. I myself find it extremely useful and extremely quick for development. It's one of the most useful things that I've found over the past few years of Android development. So if you do want to pick up Genymotion, again, you can find it through Google. It's free for non-commercial use. So you can just download the emulator. Once you've got it downloaded, Genymotion is extremely easy to use. It's based on VirtualBox, so you will either need to take the packaged VirtualBox installation with Genymotion or install VirtualBox yourself. But the installer with Genymotion will do it all for you if that's what you need. So once you've got Genymotion running, it's kind of similar in the sense that you add a virtual device. They have a lot of profiles that have different configurations based on real life phones and some custom profiles. So one of the things to mention about the Genymotion emulators is some of them don't have Google Play services. And for our first tutorial, it's not that important that we sort of discuss what Google Play Services is. It's a lot further down the line. But if you come across errors with Google Play Services down the line, just remember this, that you will need to have Google Play Services installed on some of these emulators. So don't let that hold you up when you're developing. So to summarize our workspace tutorial, basically we've downloaded and installed Android Studio, and we're kind of familiar with the workspace and the workflow of the IDE. We've downloaded and we've installed Genymotion, or we're happy with the AVD manager that Google provides. So on our next tutorial, we'll look at making our first project and doing a sort of Hello World, Hello Android type project. I hope I haven't bored you today, and thank you so much for listening. I hope you tune into the next tutorial and have a good one. Enjoy your code.